If you've ever tried learning a foreign language, then you know how incredibly stressful, arduous, frustrating that process can become. And as a result, a lot of people who started off this journey with really good intentions tend to quit. And this video is here specifically to help you not do that. Before I talk you through all those benefits, I want to introduce you to Lingoda, a really great language learning platform and the sponsor of today's video. I'm a Lingoda user myself. I have been doing one of their sprints, which is a pretty intense learning challenge. You either do 15 or 30 classes per month. 30, I class every single day. But there are numerous benefits to doing this. First of all, you become really good at the language really quickly. But second of all, if you go to every single one of your classes, you get money back. Generally speaking, I really like the structure of how you learn. All the teachers are professionally trained. They're native speakers, of course. And you do these group classes where you keep meeting the same students over and over, which I have found really nice. Not only do I find it motivating and, I like that I'm like, oh, it's Jenny over there. But I also like seeing their progress because it reminds me that I'm making progress as well as I go through the course. So if you would like to sign up with Lingoda, I do have this little discount code right here, and I would encourage you to use it. If you have any questions about Lingoda, genuinely do drop them in the comments below and I will get back to you. Otherwise, let's crack on with number one. Language learning makes you smarter. Being bilingual, or of course multilingual, has been found to correlate with higher levels of academic achievement, better cognitive abilities, problem solving, and critical thinking skills. Interestingly, brain scans have also shown that people who are bilingual tend to have higher volumes of gray matter in the regions of their brain that are involved in executive function. And learning languages apparently can literally increase the size of your brain. Number two, language learning makes you better at multitasking. Now, personally, I'm not a big fan of multitasking. I feel like if you're gonna do something, do that thing and do it properly and then move on to the next. But because of the day and age we live in, age of distraction, it is a difficult ideal to aspire to. Being bilingual makes you better at multitasking because you are forced to switch between thinking or talking in your mother tongue to this other language that you are working on acquiring. So that process is very similar to the process of multitasking. Number three, it makes you better at focusing. And again, in this notification era, that is a very valuable skill. Multiple language speakers are better at processing information because their brains are constantly activating both languages and choosing which one to use and which to ignore depending on the context. Number four, language learning improves your memory. I would say this one's pretty straightforward, right? By forcing your brain to retain all this information, you are thereby training it to hold on to facts. A study from the University of Granada and the University of York in Toronto has revealed that bilingual children develop a better working memory, which is the memory that holds, processes, and updates information over short periods of time, than monolingual children. Number five, it makes you more creative. Every single language I have ever learned or attempted to learn has forced me to view the world in a slightly different way. And by the way, in my case, it's these 6 languages that I have learned, and check is my mother tongue. Now I'm going to use an example that I've used before on this channel, so if you're a subscriber, you're going to recognize it. If you're not a subscriber, then consider becoming one, please and thank you. The example comes from Russian. They have 2 words for the color blue. They have light blue and dark blue. And that literally forces you to see the world differently, right? Like, the way you perceive color changes. And there are myriad examples I could use from other languages. The bottom line is that by seeing and perceiving the world differently, you are building your creativity. Number 6, learning foreign languages improve your math skills. Now, I'm not bad at math, but I am definitely more of a humanities, social sciences type person. So I was like, okay, do tell more. And here's the direct quote. Children who study a foreign language, even when the second language study takes time away from the study of mathematics, outperform students who do not study a foreign language and have more mathematical instruction during the school day. In another older study from 1997, students were tasked with learning a foreign language for just 1 semester for 90 minutes per week. And the results were astounding. Immediately, their language performance jumped up, obviously, but also their math skills. So there you go. There is a direct correlation that is worth exploring. Number 7, language learning helps you improve at your mother tongue. The article I read on this topic while doing research for this video used a really good example. They talked about learning basketball. So when you're learning basketball, you are learning all these drills and techniques and tactics, and ultimately that's going to make you better at basketball. But it's also going to have the side effect of making you better at other sports, for example, volleyball. There are a lot of transferable skills. This is also true of language learning. When you start learning new languages, you're going to come across all these new concepts. You're going to learn about language structure, reading skills. You're going to learn about verb conjugation and different types of words like nouns, pronouns, verbs, adjectives. And in learning all that stuff about languages in general, you're going to apply it to your mother tongue. So you're going to start to understand how language operates. I know for a fact that this works because I'm not a native English speaker, but as a result of my understanding of language, I am so much better at English. And this is not a brag, but genuinely, I'm so much better at English than a lot of my friends who were born in the UK or US who haven't been exposed to other languages. I think German poet Goethe put it best when he said, "Those who know nothing of foreign languages know nothing of their own." Number 8, learning a foreign language helps you pick up other languages faster. Now I'm going to let you in on a little secret about all those YouTube polyglots like myself. Yes, it seems impressive that people speak a lot of languages, but the amount of effort that you are putting into learning your second language is not the amount of effort that somebody has to put in when learning their fourth, their fifth, their 20th. You're going to build your confidence, you're going to figure out what works best for you in terms of learning style, and your learning is just going to take off, it's going to accelerate. Number 9, language learning makes you more empathetic. This is probably my favorite of all the benefits because it's the reason why I create these videos. I think language learning should be accessible to everyone because as a result of it, we just become better humans. We understand other cultures better, we become more tolerant, and ultimately, if everyone was doing it, I think it would create a slightly more peaceful world. There was a study done in 1989 that compared 2 groups of children. One group was taught in a monolingual setting and the second was taught in English and in Spanish. And at the end of the experiment, they were tested and it became clear that the bilingual group became far more empathetic toward Hispanic culture. There's another really interesting study by Dr. Catherine Kinsler at Cornell University in which she also compared 2 groups of children. One group was monolingual, the second was bilingual, and here's a direct quote from it. "Children in multilingual environments have social experiences that provide routine practice in considering the perspectives of others. They have to think about who speaks which language to who understands which content, and the times and places in which different languages are spoken." Number 10, it makes you more confident. Now, when you start learning a new language, inevitably you're gonna sound like a 5-year-old for a while. Now, you could allow that to put you off language learning, and it did that for me in the past where I was like, oh, I'm just not good enough and I'm not even gonna try. But if you do try and you put yourself outside your comfort zone, you're gonna reap the benefits. For example, there is no way I would be making videos on YouTube if it weren't for language learning. For one, I wouldn't speak English, but also more importantly, I just wouldn't have the self-confidence. I want to mention Lingoda, that language learning platform here one more time, because I feel like learning languages in a group setting is the perfect way to boost your confidence. There's a natural built-in element of practicing your language skills in front of other people, and doing that is going to make it so much easier to become conversational. Number 11, it improves your decision making. So here's an interesting fact. When you speak a foreign language, you actually become less emotional. The article that I read used the example of swearing. When you swear in a foreign language, somehow it doesn't feel as harsh or as bad as when you do it in your mother tongue. Now, what's interesting about this lack of emotion is that it makes you better at making clear-headed, logical decisions. When you deliberate in a foreign language, you distance yourself from the emotional responses and the biases that are deeply associated with your mother tongue. Number 12, it delays the onset of dementia. Sadly, as we age, neurocognitive decline is inevitable, but you can put it off with language learning. According to this 2013 study, bilinguals showed symptoms of dementia 4.5 years later than monolinguals, all other measures being equivalent. Now, even the most effective drugs can only delay symptoms by 6 to 12 months. So learning languages in this context is an absolute no-brainer. Number 13, it makes you better at music. Now, I'd argue the opposite is true as well. Being musical makes you slightly better at languages because it helps with your pronunciation. But in this case, the study talks about something different. It talks about tonal languages. Studies have shown that speakers of tonal languages like Mandarin and Cantonese were better at identifying musical pitches than speakers of non-tonal languages like English and French. Number 14, advance your career. Between 2010 and 2015, the number of US job postings asking specifically for bilingual candidates more than doubled, and this trend just continues. It's on an upward swing. According to a more recent 2019 report, 9 out of 10 US employers rely on employees with language skills other than English. Now, I know both these examples are US based, but this trend is definitely true globally. Just if you speak a second language, you are going to be far more employable. And some languages are better than others, as we're going to learn in number 15, which is all about improving your earnings. MIT economist Albert Saiz calculated that there is a 2% premium for American college graduates who speak a second language. In other words, you get a 2% salary boost. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions at all, then drop them in a comment below. I have pinned a comment with the Lingoda discount link if you would like to use it. I definitely do recommend Lingoda, so go check it out. Otherwise, I will see you next Friday in a new video. Thanks for watching.